what's good? Welcome to the Art Block with Habo. This is episode 26. And this is a podcast where we talk about all things within the contemporary art space, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's a hot topic, or just stuff I like to talk about that are niche and fun. In this episode, we're going to go over the Fulton Art Fair art opening that I was a part of. We're also going to jump into the Afrovisionaries Field Trip and Grant Workshop and why that exists. We're also going to jump into the Unit 333 Reveries comeback, the big return after a long hiatus. And the main topic of this episode will be, why do we create? Who do we create for as artists? An addendum to that, we should not, or why should we not, monetize all of our hobbies? So first and foremost, I don't know how many of you have encountered folks that you really admire, no matter how confident you are in yourself or how smart you think you are. When you meet these people, you become a bumbling idiot. This has happened to me at least 3 times. So the first time was a few months ago when I met Amanda Seals, and I guess I was just cool enough to where she just let me keep talking and was patient with me as I was stumbling over my words. But yeah, I felt like a fucking idiot talking to her, but it was still a nice experience, and she was very kind and patient. And yeah, shout outs to Amanda. The second and third time we're with the same person. It's the founder and the owner of the Free Black Women's Library here in Bed-Stuy. Ola is an amazing woman, and I love what she does for the community. And I feel like every time I meet her, I just feel so stupid, right? I just feel like I don't know what happens. I like all the I don't, my demeanor just shifts. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's frustrating because it's like, oh no, they're gonna think, all these people gonna think I'm just a big dummy. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if anyone else has felt like that, but yeah, that's been happening. I saw her earlier today, so that's why I brought that up. Fulton Art Fair. I mean, as a matter of fact, it was Magnolia Tree Earth Center. They were doing a second part to what we were supposed to do last week, which was the block party, but it rained last week, so we couldn't have it. So this week was the block party where all the organizations came out. So Free Black Women's Library, the Brooklyn Museum, Laundromat Project, Cool Culture, so many other wonderful organizations that benefit and help out the community. So shout outs to everyone that put that together and that were a part of this wonderful event. To recap the exhibition opening, I've already done a full kind of vlog on what the exhibition was and how it felt for me. So you can watch that video now on the channel after this is over. But just a brief little cliff note summary. Like overall, it was just a beautiful experience to be around Black artists who were also local to the area, and it was just extraordinary to be a part of that, to be included in such a wonderful exhibition with so many talented people, so many beautiful souls that I connected with, that I know that will continue to grow in relation with, and I just want to give a big thanks to Gerard for allowing me to be in this showcase, to be in this exhibition, and for putting this together, because I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of work to get this thing going. And also shout outs and many thanks to Crystal, who is the director, the creative director there at the center. The two of them, phenomenal people, and they deserve all of the accolades, honestly. But the exhibition was beautiful. It was great. I met so many people, like I said, and I'm just excited to be a part of this community, this part of the community. And now that I'm getting more ingrained, it's just nice to meet people who are actually about that life. You feel me? These are folks who are actively engaged with the world around them, and actively engaged with the community, who are working as artists and as folks who love art to bring people together, to create events, and to give back and educate as much as they can. It's just it's nice after so long of not having that happen for me when I've been so motivated to, get things done or make some changes, because I'm not the type of person that likes to complain and sit around. I complain and I do something. You feel me? And the people I'm meeting now are doers, right? And we talked about this in a previous episode. It's like I had so many folks in my life that love to just complain, 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 and just never do anything about it. Or when I offer suggestions, they just kind of sit around and twiddle their thumbs. I tried to do the whole art collective thing, and that fell through the roof. And it was just like, what is going on? Right? Obviously, there's some introspection that needs to be done as to why I'm attracting these types of people. But also, I had to think about who they were as people as well. Were these people that were truly motivated to be their best selves? Were these people that were truly motivated to be full-time artists or to live that artist life, right? To really grind and hustle, not to use these words as, my regular vocabulary, but you get what I'm saying, right? There's a certain level of tenacity and determination and discipline that you need to be in this lifestyle, and a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people don't make the cut. There are so many folks that I met from the early days of when I was streaming on Twitch that aren't doing any of this shit anymore. Whether it was creating art, whether it was streaming, making videos, nothing. And some people just don't have the guts for it. And that's fine. And that's fine. So I'm just reiterating that I'm glad that I met all these people that I'm meeting right now, because now I feel that this feels genuine and this feels real. And the pouring in that I'm giving is being received back. And it almost feels like it's a fantasy. I feel like I'm a pinch and wake up and be back in the gloomy world where I'm surrounded by a bunch of lemming gobbledygook folks. I don't know. No disrespect to anybody, for real, but it's just like, like, let's get up and do something. You know what I'm saying? So overall, Fulton Art Fair opening exhibition, phenomenal, fantastic, loved it. The artwork, everything is up. I think they're trying to extend it through October, like early October, so you still have a chance to go see it. I think they will be open on Wednesday, so you can go check it out then. I'm not sure what the other hours and days are, but y'all can check it out yourselves when you go look up their hours on Google. Okay. So yeah, I feel fulfilled, right? I feel loved. I feel a lot of great energy, that I've not felt before. So with that in mind, I want to give that back. I constantly want to give back where I'm receiving. So that's why I've created the Afro Visionaries, right? The Afro Visionary field trip, and now the grant writing workshop, right? The field trips have been really fun. I think we're on our third, right? Yeah, we're on our third. I was tripping for a second. I was like, are we on our third or fourth? But the first one we did was the Whitney to see Amy Sherrill. The second one was going to the Museum of the Moving Image and just checking out the entire space. And now we're heading over to the Chelsea Art Galleries on the 27th, September 27th. And I just want to say, I appreciate everybody that has come through. Whether you found me through TikTok or Instagram or whatever, I appreciate y'all for real. It's a free event outside of, if we have to pay for, entry. And I would love to get to a space and a place where I could obviously cover that for everybody. I would love for that to be a thing. And we're going to work on that, right? We're going to get there to that point, because I want folks to understand and see that Black people do go to museums. Black people do appreciate art that's outside of what we stereotypically are into. And I want folks to see that we're more than just whatever people think we are. We're not monolithic, right? We can go to museums, we can go to art galleries, we can appreciate and observe and have conversation about works that are outside of the realm of the typical and standard, right? That's the whole thing, is defeating that stereotype and also experiencing stuff with also experiencing stuff with one another, right? We don't often see big groups going around and just having a good time, at least not in these spaces, right? So that's why we're doing that. Chelsea Art Galleries is dope because it's literally just a whole block, like I think it's like 2 or 3 blocks of just art galleries all down up and down the street. And the first one we're going to is the Philippe Lebon Gallery. And what's dope about this one is that unlike many other in the city, this is specifically geared to comic art, which is dope. Like straight up comic book art. So my first time going there was last year. It was either 2023 or 2024. I can't remember. I think it might have been 2023. And I was like, you know what? Let me go over here because they have Mike Mignola's work there. I was like, I have to go see it because Mike Mignola, as y'all know, if y'all have been around, y'all know that Mike Mignola is one of my personal favorites in the industry. He's like one of my comic heroes, I guess you could say, comic artist heroes. So I was like, I'm gonna go over there and just check it out, absorb it, and just be within all of this amazing art, which is what inspired like visually Unit 333, which we'll get into in a second. But I went that day. It was a random day during the week. And tell me why. Guess who I saw in there? Tell me why I turned around. And I never knew what he looked like until like I saw a picture right before I went. I turned around and there's Mike Mignola right there with his wife. They was talking to the gallery owner, Philippe. And I think they were about to go out to eat or something like that. So I was like, let me run over here real quick. I don't want to like do anything super crazy or intrude or whatever. So I just walked up and like, hey, you're Mike Mignola, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, can I get a picture with you real quick? He was like, sure. I was like, it's my birthday and I love what you do. Da 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 da. There's something simple. We snapped a pic. He went on his way. I went on my way. Walked around the gallery some more, and it was just really dope. To be in that space and to meet one of my favorite artists of all time. So I definitely want to revisit that space again. They have a new exhibition coming up. It's with Stephen Cho, I believe the artist. I think that's his name. He works with Marvel, but they've had all kinds of people, all kinds of art, and yeah, I want to support. And I wish we can have more museums like that. I was just thinking about this. I think earlier today. Yeah, earlier today, I was just thinking about this. How aside from Philippe Lebon and Museum of Cartoon and Comic Art, we don't really see this form of art celebrated in these refined spaces like this. Typically, you see cartoons and comics just on the web or on the internet or whatever the case may be. You watch them on TV and people just, just brush them off. Animation. It's just like, oh yeah, animation's cool, but yeah, whatever, right? And I would love for the contemporary art space to embrace it more, because if you think about it, 9 out of 10 people that you meet have watched cartoons, whether as a kid, as an adult, with kids, with other people, and they have changed the world. Cartoons have changed the world in so many different ways. It's insane. If you look at, and I was going to touch on this a little later for the main topic, but I'm gonna do a little bit of a nod to it right now. People who watch this channel or listen to this channel most likely are very politically inclined and minded, world minded. So y'all seen what happened in Nepal. In Nepal, the Gen Z society, the young folks, they did what they had to do. They started a revolution, and some of the images I saw, they were waving flags, and one of those flags happened to be the Jolly Roger from One Piece. Y'all know One Piece, the Japanese cartoon by Oda, Luffy, Gum Gum. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was being used in this revolutionary moment. That's how impactful cartoons are. So we need to have more spaces like that. I would love to see more museums. I would love to see more exhibitions that featured cartoon, character, and comic art, because it's art. Period. It's art. That's all it is. It's art, and it deserves the same amount of praise and love as all these other things that we see. Because let's be real, I'd rather look at that than Jackson Pollock. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, we're going to Philippe Lebon. I was about to make a whole separate topic go off in this video, and I don't want to do that. Maybe later. We'll probably do that later. We'll do a separate episode where we kind of just dive deep into the world of comic and cartoon art and why it needs to be appreciated more. But yeah, we're going to start off at Philippe Lebon for this field trip and explore the entire area. Obviously, Chelsea Market is right down the street, so we can get food there or any other spot that's close by. But I'm excited to really experience this with some more Black folks. Honestly, it's just really exciting. It's just really exciting. And on the other side of that is the grant workshop. And I know some people are like, "Oh, why are you doing a grant writing and research workshop for just Black people? What's up with that? Why are you doing that? Oh, come on." Ugh. And to that I say, well, you've had chances and opportunities your entire life for the most part. On average, there are some exceptions to the rule, but white artists usually benefit the most from many of these programs and many of these opportunities. And in the nonprofit space, let's be real, Black folks aren't really given that many opportunities and chances like that, unless they're doing some crazy sob story or like a white person has to play savior in that moment, right? Black artists are underappreciated. Black artists are underserved. Black artists aren't shown the same level of love and acknowledgement as their white contemporaries and peers. Yes, again, exceptions to the rule. There's plenty of famous, well-known, and wealthy Black artists out there, but on average, as someone who is still in this space trying to come up, I can tell you and I can guarantee it that what am I, Denzel? I can guarantee it. I can guarantee you that we still deserve more. We still deserve more. And with all of the knowledge and information and resources that I've seen come across my feeds and the stuff that I've experienced, and as someone who has been granted to art grants in the past, I want to pay it forward. I want to share that knowledge with my people, with the kinfolk, because we deserve better in the contemporary art space. So many of us do not know where to look, what to do, or how to do it. It's true. It's true. And I feel like we're at this point where this is the perfect time to get ahead. It's the perfect time to really nail things down. It's the perfect time to really hone our skills so that we can have the same opportunities and get the edge on everything else. I've mentioned this before in my live streams and videos. We're in a Black art renaissance. And I want all my kinfolk, I want all the people that I know and care for and love to succeed. No matter what medium they're in, no matter what stage of their career they're on, whether they are new sculptor on the block, or if they're a veteran voice actor, I want everybody to succeed. I want all Black artists to succeed. That's why I'm doing this grant workshop specifically for us. We are constantly at a disadvantage, and this is not some victim mentality type shit. This is just shit that I've experienced and seen through other people as well. We're doing this so that we do not have the victim mentality. We're working on this so that we do have things to stand on and not just wandering around meandering as if we're blinded by whatever, like we're chickens with our heads cut off, or whatever scenario or analogy you want to use. but that's what we're here for. And at the time this video goes up, it'll be a couple of hours before, it'll be like maybe an hour before the actual workshop is happening. So if you haven't signed up already, there's still time. By the time this goes up, there still should be time to sign up. It's absolutely free. I'm not going to charge nobody for this because I don't think you should. I think some things should be a free resource so that people can have some sort of an edge, because every time you turn around, somebody's trying to sell you a $300 course or $400 course, whatever the case may be. And it's just like, how you telling people who are looking for opportunities in work to pay you all this bread for what? You should be able to do some things for free, some things pro bono. If you really care about the community, some things should just be free if you can manage it. I know for other things that are actually like costly, like putting on an event, sometimes that's not going to be the case, and that's understandable. But for something as a virtual workshop, let it be free. Let it be free. If you want to make money, there are other ways to do so. There are. But don't nickel and dime your people just so you can make a quick buck. Especially if you don't know what you're talking about. A lot of these folks, they get up here and they do these self-help type workshops or whatever, and they have these. I remember one time, oh my god, this was Clubhouse, prime Clubhouse, like early years before, it turned into what it is, whatever it became. And I remember going to one of the rooms where it was like all of these, quote unquote influencers, right? These were like these were like major Instagram people that are just like, hey, we have this many followers and this is what we did to do X, Y, and Z, right? I paid, I think, $5 for this lady's this digital book, this PDF. Tell me why it was literally just a bunch of gobbledygook that she copied and pasted from ChatGPT. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, it's stupid shit like that. So this workshop, what we're gonna do, obviously, we're going to be amongst ourselves so we can be more relaxed. We can just shoot the shit if we want to, but there still will be professionalism. Don't worry, it's still going to be professional. But we're gonna work on our artist statement. We're gonna learn how to write about ourselves. We're gonna learn how to search for the right opportunities, and we're also going to learn what many of these organizations, these nonprofits, and individuals are looking for when they're trying to obviously give away their money. Some things require some extra steps, some don't. So we're going to learn all the differences. With that, we're going to learn how to write. We're going to do some practice writing. There's going to be, I guess, like how you would in school, you have somebody come up and do their own little presentation. We're going to talk about it, discuss it, pick it apart. I'm going to show some examples of what I've done to get grants. So it's going to be a really good session. It's like an hour long. And I'm going to try to squeeze in as much as possible. Obviously, if we don't get to everything, then we'll do more. And I think it should be a series anyway. I think I might have this be an ongoing thing, maybe monthly, just so that we are keeping up and training our brains and training our skills on how to grant write, how to research, how to just prepare ourselves for these opportunities. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to spearhead this, I guess you can say, because for so long, I'll say this: I've never not been confident, right? Like I've always felt like whatever I was doing was good and beyond exceptional because I put a lot of effort into the things I do excuse me, I put a lot of effort into things that I do within my power, is what I'm trying to say. Regardless of my limitations, I try to do the best that I can. And recently, as I was saying, I've met so many people that have been very complimentary, and motivating, and affirmationally inclined towards me, that it almost felt like, oh shit, where's this coming from? Like, oh, I know I don't really hear this all the time, but somebody told me like, yeah, you should talk your shit. You should say what you got to say about yourself. because you are amazing, you are special. And I was like, you know what, you're right. So I'm glad to be spearheading this and really giving back in a way that is beneficial and not just to, fart around, right? Like I'm not just talking out of my ass, right? I'm not just trying to make no money. I'm not trying to make no money because I'm not asking nobody for money for this. Other people might, but I'm not, you know. I just want us all to succeed. So come through. If you miss this one, there will be another. I'm pretty sure I'll probably most likely definitely will do another. Um so yeah. So yeah. Uh so the main thing here for this episode is, who do we create for? Who do we create for? Why do we create, right? Um this is based off of another amazing video from mutual Alicia Renese. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, please go do so. She's a brilliant artist, a brilliant mind, and the kindest heart that I've ever seen. And a conversation that I had with another fellow artist, Glory B. We were talking about, what our art is for, and why we create it, and the purpose of said art. And both Glory and Alicia were erring on the side of, just creating for yourself. It's not really, not saying that they're not trying to be part of the community, but it's not like the priority. It's like you create the stuff that you want to create, and that's it, right? I might be misinterpreting or missing some stuff from Alicia's video, but the conversation I had was along those lines, right? I feel like, for me, because I believe the title of this video will be "Art is for Community" or "Art is Communal" or something like that. I always have a problem coming up with like titles sometimes, because it's like you're trying to do something catchy that brings people in, but it's just like, why do I need to stress myself? This is why I need other people to help me. I want to get to a point where I can make some good amount of money where I can just delegate tasks. I'm like, hey, come up with a title for this because my brain hurts and I just want to draw some stuff. But that those two might be the title. One of those two might be the title. I feel like art is for community. I feel like what I do is for the people, right? I do create for myself. Don't get me wrong, I do create for myself, but what I have is something that can be consumed, that can be observed, that can be enjoyed by other people. Because I think that's what the point of art is to have conversation, to educate, to express yourself, help others express themselves, to be inspiring, right? I think that's the point of what art is. If you look at art from across the world and throughout time, if it's mostly been communal in some way, shape, or form. It's been a part of stories, tradition, passing down tradition. It's been part of revolution. I just mentioned a few minutes ago, in Nepal, they were using the iconography from One Piece, a Japanese cartoon, to celebrate and honor what they had accomplished, to show the world that they're not to be fucked with. That was a story that was made by a man who decided to put these characters out. A show about pirates with superpowers that were fighting against the odds and changing the world. And now that is what real life human beings are doing. Imagine if that didn't exist. Imagine if Oda never created One Piece. Not saying that they wouldn't have been inspired, but there's a part of that that wouldn't have existed. I mean, the history of cartoons and comics in general were because they were trying to make people happy, to take their minds off of the horrors and terrors of the world around them, to motivate them. This video is brought to you by the generous contributions of viewers like you. Head over to patreon.com/habtunes for more details and consider joining today for just $1 a month. Whether it's with, like, I remember there were some old Looney Tunes and Disney shorts that were specifically like propaganda to motivate the soldiers, right? In the world wars and stuff like that. We've seen other things that have been, less violent, that are very motivating as well in our society, for people to help others in need, for folks to pursue careers in public service. I mean, Superman and Goku are probably some of the most iconic characters when it comes to self improvement and helping others. And that was made for community. That was made for our society. That was made for the world. I'll even give y'all an example, and I'm going to dip into some of my history once again. And I'm pretty sure many of you who are watching or listening to this have heard this story before. If you're new here, hello, hi. We're about to get into something a little dark, but I'm going to keep it a little brief and light because I don't want my video to get demonetized, because YouTube has some very, very sensitive algorithms sometimes. So a few years ago, back in 2018, I was in a very dark mental state and ended up in a facility for some time. And that was probably one of the scariest and most harrowing things I had ever experienced in my entire life. Something that I would not wish on my worst enemy, something I would not wish on anyone on this planet, especially if you are Black, because they do not care about us in there. If you thought they didn't care about us outside, they do not care about us on the inside. Okay? And that's a different story for a different day. But all of that coalesced into Unit 333 Introspect, which was the first graphic novel pop-up exhibition, and the other art that I created, the music, the short films, the illustrations, etc., etc. I created this because it was a way for me to express myself and have some form of self-regulated therapy after or post, facilitation, or whatever you want to call it, institutionalization, whatever you want to call it, right? At the same time, I wanted to make this because I wanted to have conversations with other people, whether it was consciously or subconsciously. That was the goal. I wanted people to know, and I wanted to talk with people about it. That's why I created the exhibition, the pop-up exhibition that I was able to have at my barbershop. Shout outs to O and Mark for looking out for me. And I would not change that for the world. I wouldn't. Because what happened that night was the highlight of my entire career. I'm still young. I'm going to be 35 in a couple of weeks on September 24th. I'm still young, but that is the highlight of my career, and nothing will change that, because what went from being an exhibition, just displaying my work, turned into an open forum and discussion for Black people to be vulnerable about mental health, to talk about mental health in the most raw way possible, stripped down from all of the inhibitions that would prevent them from doing so. People talking about their firsthand experience, people talking about it from seeing it from their loved ones, and it felt spiritual. It felt like we were in a different plane of existence in that moment, not to be all woo-woo or whatever, but that's what it felt like. And because of that, people came up to me after reading the book, after experiencing the art itself, hearing me talk. They came up to me that night and still to this day, telling me how inspiring it was, or how they are now able to speak on this more vocally than they have before. There are people that are doing there are people doing horror graphic novels now because of what I did. Black artists doing horror graphic novels because of what I did. And I will toot my horn about that, because that is amazing. It's honoring, it's humbling, it's honoring, and it's just shocking, but it's amazing at the same time. Imagine had I not created Unit 333. Imagine had I not shared it with the world. Imagine if I wanted to be selfish and not share it with the community. Imagine had I not done any of that. There would be no conversations. There would be no inspiration. There would be no anything. Lives were changed because of this. And I'm not trying to come off as like braggadocious on some Kanye shit, but lives were literally changed. People come up to me and talk to me all the time. And it's just, it still shocks me to this day. It's just like, wow, what? So I want to ask you, who do you create for? And why do you create? What is your goal and what is your purpose? I'm not going to tell you what you should do, but I'm just going to tell you from my perspective. I believe it's important for art to be shared. Create for yourself, obviously. You should never change anything, whether it's for an algorithm or a person. But at the end of the day, I think on default, as soon as it is seen by another set of eyeballs that is not you, the art has now become communal. The art has now become more than just you. It still belongs to you, but now it's in the public. Now there's conversation. Now there's movement. There's change. Things are evolving. And that's part of the reason why I've been feeling motivated to get back into Unit 333 Reveries, which was supposed to be the requel, right? Reboot sequel to the original. So I am bringing that back. You're hearing it first here. I am bringing that back partly because I've been talking with people recently who have been motivating me. Shout outs to Tyvette. She owns a gallery in Williamsburg. She's just one of the most brilliant people I've met in a long time. And I just feel like meeting her definitely put me in a different headspace, and just being in different groups of people recently has put me in a different headspace to feel confident enough to jump back into this without worrying about slipping back into old habits or thought patterns or whatever the case may be. So Unit 333 is coming back in full force in so many different ways. And this is going to be something for the kinfolk, for the people, as art should be. I think when we start hoarding things, that becomes the antithesis of what art is, right? Like, you see so many people that are collecting art and have private collections. It's like, why? Who are you to take something and deprive us of a work of art that could change someone's life, that could change the scope of reality itself? Imagine if Jim Henson's family and his foundation never donated the exhibition they have now at the Museum of the Moving Image. Imagine had they never done the exhibition from years ago at all, the full one. Because those who went years ago, y'all saw the full joint. That was phenomenal. That was immaculate. But imagine had they not done that. It would have been devastating because, well, nobody would know, but let's say we went and changed the timeline. It would be devastating to those who were aware of it, because then you would see kids, adults, artists, non-artists not having that motivation to do something in their lives. Like, oh, I saw this thing about Jim Henson making puppets and doing this, that, and the third. I'm going to change something in my life that will benefit me and blah, 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 or my family, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't have to always be about art. That's the great thing and powerful thing about what art is. It can motivate you to do anything. Going back to the Goku reference, you know how many people work out because of Goku and Vegeta? You know how many gym heads they created off that alone, about getting stronger, about improving your body and getting healthy and protecting the ones you love? All because of Goku and Vegeta, all because of Akira Toriyama creating Dragon Ball Z. Imagine if he had not. Imagine if he kept it to himself. Imagine if he didn't want to share it. I'm not saying you're supposed to share every single thing that you do, because there's plenty of stuff that I haven't shared yet, but I believe that as an artist, you're obligated. At least that's how I feel. You are obligated to have something for others to enjoy or be entertained by or to be educated by. I think that is our God-given purpose. We are not meant to be just alone in our room or our studio or whatever cave like uh apparatus you might be in forever by ourselves. We shouldn't. That's not how it is. We're supposed to be amongst the people. We are. That's what I do. That's what I create for. That experience of having some sort of, it doesn't have to be a world shattering conversation, but it could be something vulnerable and just intimate and beautiful about what we are making, about what I'm making, what about what we want to create. That's been happening the last 2 weeks alone, meeting all these wonderful folks that I've met. We're all motivating each other. We're all inspired by each other. Art is about tradition, passing down those traditions and sharing those stories, one generation to the next, from one person to another. So I ask you, who do you create for? Why do you create? What is your goal? I create for myself, but I create for my people. I create so that Black folks can see, no matter what age they are, no matter what their background is, can see themselves on a big screen, on a small screen, in a comic book, in an illustration, in an animation. In ways that we don't typically see ourselves in. That's what I'm doing. And some people don't understand that, and that's fine. Some people don't understand the full scope of it, and you're not supposed to. Only I'm supposed to understand the whole thing. I know how all my stories end. I know what they're all supposed to mean. And the people that get it will get it, and they will be touched. There is a power behind all of this that I want to spread. We are in a renaissance right now. And this is the perfect opportunity to capture that essence. I know I might be kind of drifting into more ephemeral ideas or whatever the case may be, but that's just how I see things. That's how there is spirit, there is God, there is power within Black art, within art in general. There really is. And I've been talking about this all week on Threads and TikTok, but Black artists, Black character artists specifically, should be creating Black characters. You should be doing something that is beneficial to the Black community across the diaspora, from wherever you're from. It's important, it's integral, because so many other people do it. People from other cultures, even our opposition, they work diligently to create narratives, stories, and artwork that promotes their ideologies, that promotes their culture, that promotes problematic rhetoric. But as soon as someone says that, as soon as someone says that we should be making art for Black people, there's always resistance. There's always a pushback. There's always a problem. Why? Really think about that. Why? We should be able to do that without somebody saying something, but there's always that one. There's always that one person or two or three. I create for people that just like art. No, there's levels to it. Black art just hits different, and that's not up for debate. Art that is created for us hits different. Look at all the stuff that the Waynes created back in the day. We was just watching I'm Gonna Get You Sucker in the Discord for our movie night, our monthly movie night. That's something that you're not going to get from somebody else. It's not. Look at Sinners with Ryan Coogler. That's not something you're going to get. That same vibe, that feeling, that essence that had people going back 10 times to go watch the daggone movie in IMAX. You're not going to get that anywhere else. You're not. And I'm so grateful to see this revolution, this renaissance happening slowly but surely over the last few years. So many great things for us to be entertained by, to be educated by, to consume. And I know that word consume can have some negative connotations to it, but I think you can consume things and still be whole and still be aware of yourself. Right? Look at Iyanu on Cartoon Network. That is an African cartoon on a major TV network. A full season and a movie. That wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. Or matter of fact, it probably would have, but it wouldn't have gotten the biggest praise because there's been plenty of things over the years that have existed that just goes under the rug, that gets swept under the rug because it's too Black or it's too this, it's too that. And to that I say, no more. This is why we need to stand up for ourselves and create for our people, create for our community. I hope everything I'm saying is making sense and you're reading in between the lines, even though I kind of shifted into talking about specifically Black art and Black creativity. It still is the same vibe and topic. It just came to me because this has been on my mind for so long. And I'm going to stand on this hill until my last breath. It's not up for debate with me. If you're a Black artist, it's integral, it's important for us to see ourselves. It goes back to what I was saying about the motivation and the inspiration. Just look at how excited, because I teach kids, and look at how excited they get when they see things like Black Panther on the screen, right? When they find out that some of their favorite cartoons were created by a Black person. Floyd Norman, who used to work at Disney, right? You got the guy, I can't remember his name right now, who created Bebe's Kids. That started a whole generation of wonderful Black art animation. There are so many shows that had that style or something similar. Dwayne McDuffie and Static Shock. Look how inspirational that's been. Miles Morales if we're just sticking on the superhero side, the Spider-Verse movies, those won awards. Obviously not as big as some other, things out there. It's contemporaries like K-pop Demon Hunters. That's a whole different thing for a whole other day, but it still did what it had to do. And now you got kids running around as the Black Spider-Man. You got people who are motivated to really dive into sharing their culture and where they came from, whether it's from here in America, across the diaspora in Africa, in the Caribbean, and so on. I think it's our duty to represent ourselves. I do. Even if you're not doing character art, there's always that bit of essence you can throw in there, right? People want to act as if we're in this post-racial world or this post-whatever world, and that it doesn't matter what I draw or who I draw or how I draw it or how I create this or create that. But no, it is important. Because if it wasn't, then we would have seen way more diverse artwork coming up. But white people create white people. You get what I'm saying? They do their stories, their cultures, their traditions. And nobody bats an eye because that's the default. That's what we're used to. So we're taught to believe that what we are making should reflect what they're doing so we can get the opportunities that they have. We're programmed to believe that our blackness, our kinky hair, our broad noses, thick lips, our dances, our lingo are not important. They don't need to be seen. That's not the goal, right? We've been tricked into doing that. But look at other cultures who are embracing what they who have always embraced what they have. At least from the outside looking in. And we should be doing the same. As a Black American, you can damn sure know for certain that I'm always going to rep that. I'm always going to rep growing up as a New Yorker. I'm always going to rep my Southern roots. I'm always going to rep coming from where I come from, right? That's what I'm here for. Again, hopefully I'm making sense. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. Hopefully you're feeling and resonating with this so that you can go talk about it with somebody else. Because no one's going to sit here and tell me what to do and how to do it. I'm always going to rep us. I'm always going to rep myself. I'm always going to create for myself and simultaneously the community at the same time because of what I do is community oriented. At the end of the day. Whether you want to take it across the world or if you want to just have it in the small, intimate space, that's up to you. But you need to do what you got to do, and you know what that is. I'm talking to you. You have a great power within you. And what did Uncle Ben say in that movie? With great power comes great responsibility, Peter. I don't think he said it like that, but you know what I'm saying. Man, I don't know. That just came out of me, man. I ain't gonna hold you. Whew. I don't know. Are y'all enjoying these? Because I'm liking these because they're very like because I record these at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. when like the world is silent, so I can really hear myself, right? Like it feels like I'm shedding a piece of myself for you to have. The last thing I want to talk on is your hobbies and finding peace and having something for yourself outside of kind of coalescing and correlating to what we were just talking about with creating for yourself. You should have some things for yourself specifically so that you don't lose yourself in the same note. Because if you monetize everything, then what do you have for yourself? If you monetize everything, then you don't really have anything anymore to yourself, to meditate with, to relax with. It gets a little out of hand. And the funny thing is, it's like, I feel like no matter what I post, there's always going to be some opposition. There's always going to be opposition for the dumbest things. Because I posted this and I said, you shouldn't monetize all your hobbies. Not everything needs to be your moneymaker. And somebody was like, with the way things are, gotta get to this bag any way we can. Like, what? This is what happens when we've been programmed into believing that capitalism is the way, the one and only way, as if it's going to save and secure our souls. What's going to secure our soul? And I stole that line from Cyberpunk 2077. I might do a whole video about that at some point because that is a phenomenal game with some deep, deep messaging, and it's like surprisingly spiritual. But anyway, what's going to secure our souls is saving things for only our intimate moments to experience. In our intimate moments to experience. Because I remember when I was starting out on Twitch, and I was like, oh, I'm going to play every single game I know and like. And it's like, nah, because that just made me not want to play them. I'd be stressed out, be too much going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, I'm gonna keep some things for myself. Everything doesn't need to be content or monetized. And we live in this world where every single moment of our lives is documented for the internet. We live in a surveillance state. You got people walking around with glasses that are filming you and you don't even know it. And they uploading you and making fun of you or putting you in some video that you had no business being in and making money off of that. Using you and your likeness as a joke, as content. Ugh, you hear that word, content. Ugh. So leave some hobbies for yourself. If you like to cook, you don't need to make a YouTube cooking channel. You can do a few videos here and there, but don't make that like a main thing, because then you're just gonna ruin it for yourself. You're not gonna like it. Look at all the big name people that are leaving the content creation quote unquote space because they're burnt out. You know why they're burnt out? One, because there's no rules and regulations to this thing because everything is still brand new. But two, they done took all their favorite things and turned it into a job. And now they can't function. All their favorite hobbies have become work. Is that what you want to do? Is that what you want to do? You want to get up and play a video game and then turn that into your 9 to 5 and be stressed out about how to edit video or how to make this thing a special thumbnail with a special title and all that stuff. Like, come on. Like, even with me, like, I was trying to do the game streaming thing for a while, but like, I don't care about it as much as I used to because I don't want that to be a thing where I'm just taking one of my favorite pastimes into the public like that. Like, I still have ideas of things I want to do with my second channel, but like, I'm not fiending. You know what I mean? Again, hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down and everything's making sense, but at the end of the day, I want you to sit with yourself and really think about what you want to do with your creativity, what you want to do with the things that you enjoy, and how that coalesces with your health and wellness, and how you can find time to be at peace and be with yourself and have those moments of reprieve and respite. I want you to think about how you can engage with your community, because at the end of the day, we are communal creatures. We are. We are. And I want you to sit with how you want to engage with those things and your community, whether you're creating art or you're, thinking about putting all your hobbies on Front Street or whatever the case may be, you know. But yeah, um, hopefully you enjoyed everything I talked about today. And if you did, um, you could either comment or not comment. I know some people just like to tell me afterwards, they'll DM me or whatever, or they won't say nothing at all. But I appreciate y'all watching, for real, for real. And whatever you choose to do, just hopefully you're at peace with it. Whatever you choose to do, hope you do the right thing, which is what's right for you. Nah, what's right for you is to do what I just said to do. Create for everybody. Now let me stop. But yeah. I'm just being stupid at this point now. I'm getting maybe a little bit of delirium because I might need to go to sleep because it's about to be 3 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you are coming to the workshop after this video goes up, I'll see y'all there. But until then, stay true, stay you. We out. Deuces.